welcome back. Does anybody remember this clip from my backyard chickens video? What am I gonna do with all these eggs? If you missed that one, I'll leave a link in the description below, and it'll also be in an iCard at the end of this video. I published that video 2 weeks ago now, and guess what? I have 5 dozen more, and it hasn't even been 2 weeks. So today I'm going to show you a super quick egg preservation method. We're going to put our preserved eggs and our fresh eggs in a head-to-head test to see if the quality is any different. And of course, I'm going to share a super yummy recipe with you guys. In my backyard chicken video, you got to meet one of my girls. Her name is Goldie. And if you stay to the end of this video, we're going to meet my other favorite chicken named Midnight. So watch till the end and we'll see some chicken shenanigans and have a lot of fun. So let's get started. So we're going to use our freezer today for help with our egg preservation project. Did you know you can freeze eggs? Well, you can. However, do not freeze them whole in the shell, or you could have a real mess on your hands. It's kind of like when you put a can of soda in the freezer and you forget it's there, and then you come back a few hours later and it has exploded all over your freezer. The same thing can happen with your egg. As liquids freeze, they expand and it could crack the shell and potentially get all over the place. So to get started, we're going to crack a dozen of our eggs into this bowl, whisk them on up, and then I'll bring you in closer. And now they're ready to go into our ice cube molds. So these are the ice cube trays that I have. They're just silicone lined ice cube trays. From the research that I've done, 1 large egg is equivalent to 3 tablespoons of our mixture we have right here. These ice cube trays will not fit 3 tablespoons of the egg mixture in them. There are larger ones that you could buy off Amazon or Walmart. I did not have enough time to get those before I wanted to film this video. So I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons to each of my cells. But if you get the larger ones and you could fit 3 tablespoons into each ice cube cell, that would be more convenient for you when you go to use them in a recipe. I also find that it's easier if you pour your egg mixture into a tall glass cup or a tall glass or a tall anything to measure it out more equally. Now, I find that it's easier to measure out your egg mixture if you have something like this that has measurements on the side. So right here I have a 1 tablespoon line and a 2 tablespoon line on top. I find that it's easier to use something like that than stick your spoon into your jar filled with your egg mixture and try and measure it out that way, because sometimes you get inaccurate measurements. So I'm just going to fill it up to the 1.5 tablespoon line and pour it right into my mold. And there we go, no spoons required. One thing I do want to mention is if you're planning on freezing the whites and the yolks separately, there is something different that you have to do. So the whites can go in your ice cube tray just as they are. The yolks need a little bit of a stabilizer in them, or else they could turn gummy on you. Sprinkle a little bit of salt onto each ice cube, and that will prevent them from turning gummy on you. All right, I'm going to pop the lid on these, and these are going to go immediately into my freezer, and I'm going to work on filling up my second tray. So the 1.5 tablespoons basically fills each of these cells up to the very top. So I'm going to, instead of measuring everything out, I'm just going to pour it in, and that'll save me so much time. I do want to show you what we do with our eggs once they're fully frozen. So first things first, you want to get a Ziploc freezer bag and label and date it. You might think you'll remember what you put in your freezer and when, but trust me, you won't. After you get your freezer bag all labeled, you're just going to pop out your frozen egg cubes, pop them in the bag. And that's the reason why I love these little silicone ice cube trays, is they're so easy to just pop out what you put into them. Now that we have our eggs all in our Ziploc bag, these can be stored safely in your freezer for up to 1 year. Can you believe 1 year? So I know you guys are probably wondering, well, is there a texture difference or a taste difference between frozen eggs and fresh? We're gonna test that out today. In this jar, I have 2 eggs that I defrosted overnight that were frozen, just like we did. In this bowl, I'm gonna crack in 2 fresh eggs. We're gonna add a little bit of half and half and salt and pepper to each, and then we're gonna fry them up side by side into scrambled eggs. I'm gonna taste it at the end and tell you what I think. All right, like I said, we're gonna add a little bit of half and half to each, or you could add milk, whichever you like. We're gonna whisk them up. Gonna add a little pinch of salt to each. Tiny little bit of black pepper, because I like black pepper in my eggs, but you don't have to add this. This is however you like to eat your scrambled eggs. Give it another little whisk. And now these are ready to go into a frying pan. Okay, our scrambled egg mixture using the frozen eggs is gonna go into the pan that's on my right-hand side, or the smaller of the 2 pans. And the scrambled egg mixture using our fresh eggs is gonna go to my left or into the larger pan. So far, there's no difference that I can see in texture. Let me turn this pan up a little bit higher so they kind of cook at the same time. And I would love to add cheese to these eggs because I love cheese on my scrambled eggs, but I want to give this a true and honest taste test, and I don't want the cheese to get in the way of that. All right, I'm going to turn off the pan that has the frozen eggs. Okay, these ones are done too. I'm going to turn off the heat now on this pan, and I'm going to get some dishes so I can put these in a dish. But I want to do it on camera so you guys know I didn't cheat. Okay, this bowl is going to have our frozen eggs in it. I know it's a big, huge bowl for that little tiny amount of eggs, but... And then this paper plate, I'm going to put the freshly cracked eggs in. Okay, now the question is, can I tell the difference between the 2 eggs? This was our frozen eggs. They're actually very, very good. Very good. You could never tell that those were frozen, I'm telling you. And these are our fresh eggs. Funnily enough, the frozen eggs, these ones here, the texture is actually a little softer than those. Yeah, I would eat these all day long. They're delicious, guys. But yeah, definitely they have a softer texture, and I like that. Next, we're gonna make a super yummy bakery style muffin using the frozen eggs. And we're gonna see if that makes any difference at all. But I'm telling you, it's not going to. Guess what, guys? I just realized that the whole time I filmed me making the muffin recipe, my mic wasn't working. So you couldn't hear a thing that I was saying. So I'm gonna remake the muffin recipe tomorrow on camera with a working mic. But if you're wondering why I have a different outfit on or something like that, or look different, that's why. Whoopsie, accidents happen, right?
The next day.
All right, guys, muffins take 2. But before we get started, I wanted to show you the cutest cup that I found yesterday at Tractor Supply. Look at that. Isn't that the most adorable thing you've ever seen? It says chickens over people, and it has 2 chickens on it with little chicks, and in the back, it has a little chick. It's so cute, and I can't wait to drink my coffee out of it. But anyway, to get started with our muffin recipe, the first thing I've done is preheat my oven to 425 degrees. And I know, you're like, 425 degrees, this girl is gonna burn those muffins to a crisp. But no, trust me, that's what you want. You wanna start out at high heat with your muffins to get that beautiful domed top that we're after. All right, to get started, we're gonna mix our dry ingredients together. And in case I didn't tell you, this is a bakery style chocolate chip muffin. So we're gonna start out with 2 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And yes, I know that's a lot of baking powder, but that's also gonna help us get that nice rise that we're looking for. Give that a nice whisk just to mix it up. And we're gonna set this aside for now while we get our wet ingredients put together. All right, for our wet ingredients, we're gonna start off with 1 cup of sugar, 1 1/4 cups of whole milk at room temperature. You want all of your wet ingredients to be at room temperature, guys. Just remember that so you can plan ahead. 1/4 cup of sour cream, 2 large eggs. These are my frozen eggs that I thawed overnight in my refrigerator. Those are going right in. We're going in with a tablespoon of vanilla extract. This is my homemade vanilla extract. And 1/2 cup or 1 stick of salted butter that I melted and let cool slightly. And we're gonna give this a nice mix. And now we're gonna add our wet mixture into our dry and just fold it with a spatula to combine. And it's okay if you don't get all of the flour combined, because after we do this, we're gonna add in our chocolate chips. We're gonna mix it a little bit more. All right, now we're going in with 1 1/2 cups of chocolate chips. You can use any kind of chocolate chips that you like. Okay, we're now ready to fill our muffin tin. I'm using this jumbo muffin tin, so I'm getting 6 muffins. You could use a standard 12 count muffin tin and that would be perfectly fine. But we're gonna fill each muffin all the way to the top with the batter, and I'm using a silicone muffin pan, so I'm not putting in any papers or any sort of liner here. If you're using a standard muffin tin, then yes, you would wanna use liners. And this amount of batter should be enough to get me 6 to 7 muffins of the jumbo size, I should say. Don't forget to add a few chocolate chips to the tops of your muffins, just for pretty. All right, these are gonna go into my oven at 425 degrees, like I told you earlier, for 7 minutes. If you're using a 12 count muffin pan, you would put them in at 425 for the first 5 minutes. After their time at 425 degrees, we're gonna turn the oven down to 350 and bake for an additional 25 to 30 minutes. And don't open the door. My muffins just came out of the oven and they look absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna put them on a wire rack to cool, and once they're cooled a little bit, I'll cut one open for you on camera and we'll see if the texture is any different because we use the frozen eggs. All right guys, now it's time for a taste test. I have my chocolate chip muffin that I use the frozen eggs on this side, and I have a double chocolate muffin that I made the other day with fresh eggs. We're gonna cut both of them in half and I'm gonna taste each and tell you what I think. Okay, first, the muffin made with the fresh eggs. I'm just gonna take a bite. It's a good muffin. Now the muffin that was baked with frozen eggs. That is also very delicious. I mean, I can't tell the difference between the two as far as texture goes. So I think either way you go, whether you use fresh eggs or frozen, you're gonna get the same result. There she comes. That's Midnight, the black one. I just gave him a few strawberries. They love strawberries. Let me see if I can catch her for you guys. She's not very friendly, that one. Come here, Midnight. Come on. Come Okay. Come here. Here, girls. Here, girls. All right, here she is, guys. It took me forever to catch her because she's not very friendly. She's not as friendly as our other chickens. She runs away a lot. But I wanted to thank you for joining me in today's video. I hope you learned something and got something out of it. I'm actually thinking of doing a series with this because I will have eggs all the way up until fall, and it's only May. Let me know what you guys think. Would you like a series made out of this? And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and chat with me in the comments. Bye. Wow, they did a number on my planters. That used to be filled with pansies, I think. They ate every last one and dug them all out. Yeah, look what they did to the other one. Same thing. Yeah, dirt all over the floor. Oh, they're bad, bad, bad.